Welcome again. Today we had a lot of fun with the Wars of Liberty League Week 13 matches. It was quite fun, actually. I enjoyed doing them finally with the microphone that didn't sound like total cancer. And now you're going to get to learn a couple of things about the Great War Age. That should be pretty fun, right? Yeah. I've been putting up, little matches every day against an AI, just showing you how the Great War Age looks and feels. Now I'm gonna actually teach you how to play it and different little things about the units and interactions you might need to know to do really well. Alright, so to help do that, I created this little map with all little scenarios where we're gonna go through them all, and I'm gonna show you what it looks like when things are going right for you. Like what sorts of matchups you should be doing and thinking of.
तैयार हाँ मैं करूंगा
So I'm just going to move
मैं जा रहा
him
हूं
over here a little bit so he doesn't get involved with that barbed wire. Let's save that till later. Alright. So I guess before we really go into anything new, I'm going to start off with this. So these are trucks, right? You may have seen these in the video. What trucks do is, first truck you get, you're going to put down a supply depot. And with the supply depot, you basically build around it like a node system, right? And you do have to have a supply depot down to actually put buildings like this on the map. I didn't load it in at the proper age, so it's, I don't think it's got all the right stuff in it yet. That's okay. I'm just going over the basics, and don't really have to go over too much beyond that, like the tech research, and because you'll see plenty of videos on the channel where I actually research Great War Age and build stuff, so I can just reference things here as needed, verbally. So, in general, the first thing you need to know before we even go into even buildings is, when do we get Great War Age? Well, we get Great War Age as part of a technology very similar to spies from the town center. When I say similar to spies, I mean it will get more expensive the more units and buildings that are on the map, right? So, if we have 100 enemy units, we have a bunch of houses and barracks and stuff, it's going to be pretty expensive. If we're in a free-for-all with 8 players doing the same thing, boys, are going to be really expensive. So there's really 2 ways you're going to come across the Great War Age. Number 1 is you're just stockpiling resources and you eventually reach that threshold in like a really, really long game. Or 2, you're just really good at killing the enemy's units and buildings, and you get that little trigger moment in the Imperial Age where you can sneak it in. It's supposed to be for really, really, really late game as a tiebreaker. This isn't part of like the primary gameplay. You're not going to see it every game. Just be warned of that. So you're not shocked when you see a lot of matches online that don't use this age. The main building, as I said before, is a supply depot. You build with your first truck. They cost about 500 wood. Next thing I recommend you put down is an oil rig. An oil rig trickles a resource called oil. It's this one right up here. With the oil, what you're capable of doing is building some larger Great War Age units like battleships, planes, as well as armored vehicles and tanks. Stuff like infantry, cavalry, certain pieces of artillery like machine guns and field guns, those will not cost oil. So oil isn't an essential must. And as you know, certain cultures have different units available in Great War Age. There's a standard set of units that everybody's going to get, and then every culture gets 1 or more unique units. Before we really go into like a lot of the combat stuff, let's start with the really funny one. So, this is a homing pigeon. This is the first unique unit that the Europeans and the nation states get access to. Well, there's no way that I've seen yet that you can train this in the match. You get a free one at your town center when you reach the Great War Age. What it does is it's a big scouting unit, right? Think of like the Hugin and Mugen in Age of Mythology, right? Yeah, see, he can fly pretty unfazed. Nobody's gonna shoot at him. You know, he can just enjoy the view, basically. Being a really good scouting unit. Oh, that's the sound. Alright, I was wondering what that noise was. They gotta fix that animation really badly. So, I just wanted to show you that these birds are actually a unique unit available to the Europeans and nation states as a scout unit that you start with. Now let's go into actual military units. So this is the soldier, and what the soldier is he is a infantry designed to be good against a lot of shock units and as well as infantry units. His main advantage is the fact that he actually fires fires a lot faster than standard infantry. So I'll show you right now. I prepared a little army up ahead. Let's kill them, shall we? Let's kill them. Let's stop right here. Kill them in and kill them all. Notice here how good they are in combat. They fire very quickly. They got a really good rate of fire. Pretty insane rate of fire, actually. So, and they cost only about 100 food and 50 gold, so not the most expensive unit either. If you're just looking for a basic bare necessities infantry unit, as soon as you reach up there, it wouldn't really hurt to build the field barracks after the oil rig and start making some of these to get you a good advantage. Now, this is the next unit you get at the field barracks. This is the Rifle Grenadier. It's a special sort of like, what is it listed as? It's a skirmish unit and a heavy infantry unit. What it does is it has a special splash in its ranged attack that apparently has a multiplier against assault units. I don't know about that part, but I guess there's a method to the madness, so I'll show you against some assault units and some other units how they do in a pitched fight. Let's stop it right here. Look at this. Oh, they blow up everything. Look at these armor guards too. These guys are supposed to be tanks. Infantry cavalry doesn't matter. Oh yeah, look at this. Unbelievable. And for them, the cost is a little bit more expensive than the Great War Soldier. If you have a lot of gold to spare, maybe you'll start with some of these before you even make the soldiers. They're in particular better against, say, tanks or armored vehicles. That's why they have the assault tag multiplier up here, is because things like armored vehicles and tanks actually have an assault tag. So to counter them properly, they had to add it to this unit. I probably should have put a couple tanks there to show you why it has an assault tag, but that's alright. It's a good little thing to keep note of when you're playing the Great War Age, that big armored tanks and stuff like that are normally going to be assault units. They're not going to... I don't think they're going to be considered shock, but they're definitely going to have an assault tag. Alright. Let's, I guess we could show this next. These are the armored cars. This is the wider type of vehicle you'll have access to at the machinery building that you see with the tanks and everything. These get a multiplier against maneuver units. Right? So they're actually pretty good against things like dragoons and so forth. I'll put these forward and do some shooting. Look at how good they shoot here. quite good. That's a lot of damage. They really do a lot of damage with those machine guns. And I figured I'd put a couple of mechanics nearby to show you what they do. Mechanics are basically like priests for your machines. They're really good at just fixing up these damaged machines of yours from the machinery. Likewise, we have the tanks. Tanks, a lot more good against things like, say, infantry, buildings, ships. But they are a little bit less effective against artillery, at least in smaller numbers. Yeah, a really good splash attack, too. And notice that assault tag. That's why the Rifle Grenadier has the multipliers it does. Alright, let's get started. Yes, see how effective these tanks are in combat? They make the armored vehicles look like nothing. Yeah, they just spray them with their machine guns, and if we were fighting a ship or something, or a building, they'll actually fire shells at them. It's really nice to look at. Likewise, mechanics can heal tanks as well. Wanted to show that piece. Now we move on to the next part. Machine guns. In particular, we have two types of machine guns. We have the machine gun, which is the standard one that everybody gets. It has a multiplier against shock units. And you might be thinking, wait a second, isn't artillery usually bad against cavalry? Apparently, the team came up with an idea to define machine guns in the game. Any sort of rapid-fire machine gun style weapon will naturally be stronger against shock units. They will be able to counter infantry still, overall, but the main job will be against the shock units and the infantry units, doing a little bit less against, say, buildings and ships. And likewise, we have a second artillery unit, the machine fint. You saw this yesterday. This is limited, I think, to just India for now. And what you can do with the machine fint is it has, in particular, strong multipliers against scout units. It's actually, let me look at the pricing. It's actually cheaper in coin somewhat and also cheaper in wood, but it does cost a bit of oil. Now, one thing you should keep in mind, though, that I'm not showing here, is actually the fact that these machine fints do indeed benefit from the Indian elephant cards, upgrade cards. So, for instance, if you send the Indian card not that we have in this deck, that reduces elephant population costs, this machine fin would become a 5-pop unit instead of the 6-pop that the standard machine gun would have. Given machine fin's actually an advantage over their machine gun counterparts. Also, it benefits from elephant combat, and it also benefits from the card that cheapens the cost of elephants, making the coin cost less. It won't make the oil cost less, because I don't think that they consider that in the card. Maybe they'll consider making it cheaper in oil, elephants cheaper in oil as well, just to accommodate this unit. But let's see how they do in action. I'm going to attack with the machine fins first, I think, and then... Yeah, let's move these out first. We'll put them in front, and then we can put the machine gunners in the back to show what their bombard mode looks like. The other cool thing about the machine fins is their HP count and their speed. They're generally going to be faster. So here's our target. Let's get them. Let's get them, boys. Let's get them. Alright, so see, they're quite good against scout units. That's really their strength. They do quite a bit of damage, and then let's put the machine guns in and show you what that looks like. Oh, it's a carnage. Look at that. Look at that. And then you just move the machine guns up. Totally sprays them dead. Brutal. Very, very effective. Now we have another unit, the flamethrower, or what used to be called the Flammenwerfer. This is a unique Great War Age unit available to Europeans and to the nation-state states like Greece and Bulgaria. What this is this is an anti-infantry focused weapon, much similar to the Chinese flamethrower. Now, instead of being like a very pierce armor immune cannon type unit, this is a cheaper infantry style unit that costs about 100 food and 100 coin, and about 2 pop. I'll show you now what it looks like and when it's in combat. Let's attack some heavy infantry. See, they can kill all kinds of infantry. Even the mighty Ishikuru gets cooked by it. Brutal, isn't it? Yep. Make sure to use those when you're the Europeans of the NS. So now we move on to another unique unit belonging to Native American civs, both the North American native civs like Lakota and Hods, as well as the South American native civs like the Mapuche and Tupi and Incas. Now what this is a fully dedicated sniper unit. And what this sniper unit can do is, he is really good at hitting long-range units from really far away. In particular, different types of infantry, probably assault units, and thanks to these multipliers, even artillery. Now let's show you what it looks like to go sniping with these. Very powerful. I put them in stagger mode so we can get a bit of a different... I'm just going to keep stopping, and now this is a good tactic you can use. Just keep walking around and seeing, you know. See, I've came across my opponent right here. Watch as we slowly start sniping them down from afar. And if you do this in a really meticulous way, you can avoid a lot of injury doing this. Yep, let's get the cannon. Yeah. Yep, see how effective this is? It's quite effective, actually. That's a lot of damage. That is a lot of damage. Yep, pretty easy to deal with. Now, let's move on to... I guess, these guys. So, I wanted to put these two together to show you what they look like. These are the Trench Raiders. These belong to Anglophony civilizations, so say United States, Canada, Australia. What they do is they use a shotgun. They're an assault shock unit, and they're great against things like infantry and so forth. They're great for just blasting their way through formations of infantry, like a more modern form of Escopetero. And these guys are the Labor Corps. What the Labor Corps do is they build a special defensive structure you see up here called barbed wire. Now, I didn't unlock the Great War Age in this match, so it's not shown in the UI. It actually isn't even working yet. The coding team has to set it up so you can actually build the barbed wire with them. But other than its ability to build barbed wire fences, it doubles as a foot assault unit similar to the Mapuche Trengalav. Which means, it's got some hand armor. It's also got multipliers against infantry. And you definitely don't want to get shot by dragoons as these things either, because dragoons will have a field day killing them. But let's deal with the mixed army of maneuver units and some other stuff and see how they perform together. See, this is what it looks like. I put the triangulars in front, and do damage, and take out the maneuvers. Yeah, just to give you some perspective of, unit that might not necessarily be the strongest, but yeah, still, you can do a lot with it. Yeah, quite effective. And let's see what other cool tools we have to show. Alright, so we'll move on to the Dispatch Riders. These are an African Great War Age unit, so Egypt, Ethiopia, and Zulu will have these. What these are is a really modern approach to Age of Empires 2 cavalry archers. They're great for kiting infantry. I'll demonstrate it a little bit here just so you can see how the kiting works. Yep, you gotta be careful though when you're kiting. I did this kind of poorly. It still pretty kind of works. Just be aware of lag when you're doing it, so you don't get completely demolished. See how effective this kiting is? And I believe it shoots multiple shots as well. Just really good for taking out infantry targets. And it only costs about 180 coin and about 90 oil. So you're definitely going to want to make sure you get your oil up to make those. Now, I think we're done with like standard infantries for now. So let's go over some stuff on the water. Actually, yeah, let's start with the water. So in the water, you get multiple weapons here. You got submarines, which you can obviously put in the stealth, and they won't be able to be shot at, right? Nobody will know that they're there. So let's do a bit of an attack sequence with these. And I also brought some aircraft here to show you that you can use several types of aircraft to attack ships as well. This is a mine layer. Now what the mine layer does, I wasn't able to show it yet because, well, I didn't show it because I didn't research Great War Age for this scenario to keep things basic. What the mine layer does is it lays down naval mines, which when the enemy ship moves over them, does immense damage to them. Sometimes it'll even kill them instantly, depending on how light the ship is, like a canoe. Other than that, it doubles as a siege ship. So, like a siege ship, it has a long-range bombard attack, good for attacking buildings from afar. So instead of having that long-range bombard ability the modders usually have, this just lays down mines instead. And this is the Dreadnought. Dreadnought is just a heavy ship that's really tanky and does a lot of damage. It also has two types of armor too, making it somewhat like an honor guard. It's impervious to both crush damage and pierce damage. So let's try it. Try to have a little war with the enemy, shall we? Let's move these submarines up to attack. And let's be ready with our Air Force as well. Unfortunately, for some reason they can see me when I'm submerged. I think we can beat them pretty easily. Also be aware that these subs have a pretty short watch here as I use the Naval, the Air Force to basically bomb the ships. Get the nice sound effect of bombs dropping in the air. Oh, that was pretty easy to do, wasn't it? Yeah. In general, if your enemy is caught behind with an older navy, stuck in like the Imperial Age, these ships, combined with your normal navy, which you can still make, by the way, will generally defeat them pretty easily. Now let's talk about Air Force, what airplanes do and when we should use them. So, Air Force, these are blimps. Well actually, let's go over the bombers first. So what bombers do is, bombers are used to bomb targets on the ground, namely buildings and ships. They can't attack regular units, and they can't deal with opposing enemy aircraft. If you're caught behind in an age and you're dealing with somebody in the Great War Age, there's actually no way for you to actually attack these bombers, because there's only two ways we can actually attack bombers. Number one would be an anti-aircraft gun, which is a special building we can construct only in Great War Age. Number two would be to train some of these. These are fighters. These planes are a lot smaller than the bombers, but what they do is they can go toe-to-toe with other aircraft using machine guns. That's what sets them apart. Only make these if you see enemy aircraft appearing on the skies. If you don't see enemy aircraft, especially bombers or zeppelins, don't even bother making these. In the past, they would shoot ground targets with their machine guns, but here, to meet the new aircraft logic, they will not interact with the ground. The only aircraft that can actually can fight both buildings and units on the ground is the Zeppelin. Now, what the Zeppelin does is it's an otherwise normal bomber that can bomb buildings from above. And just like with the bomber, you can't kill these with anything but an anti-aircraft gun or a fighter plane. What sets it apart is its special ability, mustard gas. Attacks an area using mustard gas. The clouds of gas will damage any unit that enters the area for 3 minutes. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to take this whole Air Force here, and we're going to assault an enemy position. And we're going to show you how effective it is. Now, I must warn you, there are going to be anti-aircraft guns waiting there for us. Well, as building a town center to bomb, and civilians to genocide. So that's going to be very fun. Now, one little tip about anti-aircraft guns that you'll see. Anti-aircraft guns cannot fire at targets directly above them. That is, vertically above them. So, if you have an anti-aircraft gun all by itself, odds are it's going to get bombed for free, almost, right? So what you need to do is you need to place multiple anti-aircraft guns together in a group so that they can cover each other. Otherwise, there's no point in even making them. And that's exactly what I did down there. So let's see if our Air Force can handle him. Shall we? Alright, let's do this. I'm feeling pretty confident, like, we can destroy the Geneva Convention today. Is that our whole Air Force? Let's bring these down too. Let's go for it. Let's go for it, man. Get these guys. Let the bombers working on the aircraft guns first. I'm gonna move the Zeppelins down and start genociding the civilians. See how powerful these Zeppelins can really be. Alright, let's put it right here. Look at the genocide, man. Look at that. Well, it actually didn't... Normally it does a lot more damage in this. Maybe because it's a custom map or something. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem to be doing a lot of gassing. It actually did kill a couple of them. It's kind of interesting. Maybe they can look at that to make the gas more effective. So it can deal with grouped units like this. Yeah, see here though, basically these bombers just completely obliterated both the town center and the aircraft guns. And I see it. Let's kill that fighter plane with ours. Where is the enemy plane? Oh, cool! I actually didn't notice that. You actually see the bullets flying out of the fighter plane into the bomber. How's it look? I'm just curious. Yeah, that's kind of cool, actually. I would actually follows the unit. Huh? Alright, we'll let them have fun for a while. So, there's two more little tidbits, lessons I wanted to show. So, if you are in trouble ever, and you ever feel like, you know, you got your villagers out there in the open, and they're dealing with a bunch of bad guys, there is a new little defensive tool you can use called the bunker. You will need a supply depot to place them, so keep that in mind. What it is it's like a machine gun building. You can use purely to defend yourself. So let's become instigators and get these soldiers to come at us, you know. Take that, you take that. You. Alright, let's hide in our little cubby hole. Look at those bullets fly. Quite an effective unit, isn't it? Yeah, they do a lot of damage. Yeah, get back here. And now I can finish you off. Easy peasy. Alright. And now there's one more little feature I wanted to show you. This is something called barbed wire. Now, what barbed wire is, it's a defensive building that's supposed to prevent you from getting somewhere you're not supposed to go. Now, what you can do is, with any unit like a dispatch rider is you can actually attack the barbed wire like any building. And it sieges it like a regular building. But, well, actually it's not sieging it, which I find kind of weird. Let me try using a cannon. Yeah, oh, the cannon does it. Now, I'm going to show you why it's important that you siege barbed wire instead of walking over it mindlessly. See, unlike other buildings, you can actually walk over the barbed wire. And if you're not careful and paying attention to the map, this can happen to you. It's actually painful to experience. Let's walk through it, shall we? Yeah, see, look at that. Not even a mighty tank can survive barbed wire. Shreds everything to pieces. Literally everything to pieces. Yeah, looks like they're still fighting this bomber here. But I just wanted to go over all these little Great War concepts with you, so you're not too shocked for when the patch releases with this wonderful mode. You'll know sort of what the units are and when we would want to use them in reality. Because, let's be honest, in the matches that I was doing against the bot, I was just sort of making stuff just for the sake of making it and not really considering multipliers or statistics or anything at all. Hope this was helpful for you. And I hope to do many more useful tutorials for you in the future as well. See you later.